I'll begin it with what things that you should know before applying for an internship or a job. And then I've divided it into different parts, that is what, why, when, and how. So these are the things that you should know before you apply for any internship or job. Why you should apply to a top tier law firm, and even why you should not apply to a top tier law firm. And then which year should you apply to a good law firm, and which years you should be it should be all right for you to intern under a simple firm. And then of course we'll move on to the main section, that is how you can get an internship or a job at a good firm. So without further ado, let's move on to the things that you should know before you apply for an internship. And so when you are going to apply for an internship in a law firm, there are various law firms, and you should apply to a firm which caters to your interest, your comfort zone. So before you start looking for firms, you should know what is your field that you're most interested in. There are different types of fields. For example, commercial law, there is commercial law, there's company law, there is intellectual property rights, and then there are criminal law. So these are all different fields that you should look into, and you should know which field are you most interested in, and then apply it accordingly. And then the next thing, obviously, you should check which field you're most comfortable joining in. You may even venture outside your comfort zone. So then there are different fields that are available in law, like I talked about. There's commercial field, there's intellectual property rights field, there's criminal law field, then there's contract law. So there are different fields that are available, and some of these fields, they will be available throughout the existence of human being. So for example, crime, it will be committed always. Then there are as long as there are companies, you'll always have scope in commercial law. And same is with these different fields. So you can look into these fields that will be available throughout the existence of human beings. Then there are different fields that are developing right now. So you can look into intellectual property rights or cyber laws. These fields are something where development is still taking place, and we are still going to have more opportunities in the coming days. So you can think about these fields. And then apart from them, there are also different fields that will likely become popular in the future. So cyber law is obviously one such example. Then you might have observed the changes that are going to take place in OTT platforms. So you can venture into that field as well. If you're interested in entertainment law and all those things, then you can research more on those laws, and you can choose a firm that caters to that field only. And so obviously you can choose a field that is still developing, or you can venture into a field that is already established, and there are only few amendments that will take place in the future. So criminal law is a good example, and then civil law, obviously. So these are the things that you should know before applying for an internship. Now we can move ahead to the next section, that is the why you should apply to an internship at a top tier law firm, and why having an internship experience at a small law firm will be all right. Is my screen visible? Is the PowerPoint presentation visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay. So these are the things that you should know, that having a good experience in a good firm will be beneficial to you. But there are also benefits of doing an internship at a small firm. So the benefits of a top tier law firm is uh, known to everyone, and that is a common knowledge. You get exposure, you get to make new contacts, your networking becomes good, you get different experiences. So internship at a top tier law firm is obviously a good choice, but then there are also in case you're not able to procure an internship at a top tier law firm, then you can try interning at a small firm. It You'll get a different kind of exposure, you'll get to experience law at the very grassroots level, and obviously wherever you go you'll get the opportunity of networking, you'll meet many lawyers in uh, both a small firm and a top tier law firm. So that's not an issue. Networking you can do at both the places, and while exposure at a top tier law firm is obviously sought after, but the exposure you're going to get at a small firm, it will be a very different experience, and you'll love it. So uh, for people who are living in Delhi, I'll suggest that you should go to Tees Hazari at least once in your life and experience the court proceedings there. It is a wonderful opportunity, and it has been said that a person who survives in Tees Hazari, he can survive in any court of the world. So if you get the opportunity of visiting it, or it would be better if you get an opportunity to under someone in Tees Hazari, then you should try it. So, even I have done my internship during my college days in the District Court of Aligarh. So I got to experience a lot of things that I might not have seen in Supreme Court. So it's a good thing. You should start from a small firm and then move basically from step by step to a top tier law firm. So if you get an opportunity in a good firm in your first year, then that's good. And if not, that is also very good, because you'll get to experience small courts and law being applied at a very basic level. So that's a very good thing if you get a chance to experience in a small firm. So here is a slide where I have put forward in which year you should apply to a good firm, and what you should do before that. So basically, it has been said that you should start applying to a good law firm during your third or fourth year. Uh, if you're studying a 5 year law course, or during your third year if you're studying during your final year if you're studying in a 3 year law course, because usually the top tier firms, they come up with the opportunities of internship with job offers. So it's good if you intern during your third and fourth year, and then it might lead to a job offer. And before that you can try different fields so that you can experience what is your interest, in which field your interest lies, and then you can find which field you're most comfortable in, and then apply to a firm accordingly. So, for example, if you're studying in a 5 year law course, you should start applying for good internships in third and fourth year. And before that, you can experience in district court or NGOs or many other firms that are available throughout India. Uh, so, let's move on to the next slide. So I think this is the most important part, how you can get an internship at a good firm. So basically, there are things that you should do during college and things that you should do during the prior internship. So I'm assuming here that you have already uh, interned under different people during your first and second year. So things that you should focus on during college, obviously, you have to maintain a good student record, because that is going to help you get internships. If you're a good student, your teachers might even suggest you to some suggest your name to some good lawyers, and you should obviously maintain good relations with your teachers. They are teaching you the basic principles of law, and they have many contacts with people who are practicing law and who have reached different stages in their lives. So you may even get the opportunity to work under a lawyer or maybe even a judge. And some of these internships require you to submit a character evidence or something like that. Then maybe your teachers can help you with that. Obviously, you have to participate in extracurricular activities, such as participate in moods, participate in debates, and take part in different paper presentations. So, moot courts are important because they help you get the understanding of law, how it is applied, and you also get the opportunity to interact with different people. So now I understand that there might not be many moot courts happening nowadays, but I think virtual moots are going on. So you can try participating in those. Participate in virtual moots. They're going to give you wonderful experience, and you'll also get to know how to apply the law, the law that is available in the Bare Acts, how to apply it in practical life. And then participate in debates. Obviously it's going to help you with your speaking skills. And paper presentations are important because usually when you apply for internships, they look for a person who is good at researching. And if you have paper presentations in your CV, then that could be a good proof that you are actually good at paper presentations and you have experience in researching. So mood courts, obviously, they also say at certain level that you have researched a lot on a particular law and you have those skills that a good researcher need. But paper presentations, I think, that are important. And then obviously, lots of firms, they require a person who is good at drafting and good at researching. So researching is something that you'll require to do at every level uh, of your this entire journey of law. So you'll have to research a lot about laws when you're a student. You'll have to research a lot when you're interning under somebody. You'll still be researching about the laws and its applicability when you reach a particular level in your uh, experience. So obviously you should take some extra courses that might improve your skills in researching. And drafting is important because once you join a good firm, they basically give you works of drafting. So you have to learn how to draft a contract and you have to learn the nuances of what a good contract requires. So I'll suggest that you learn how to draft a contract and obviously how to research laws. So it would be beneficial for you if you do some extra courses, or maybe you can try it during your free time. And then obviously if you have joined an internship at any place, maybe at a small firm, or even if you have joined at a good firm, then there are certain things that you need to make sure to continue during those internships. So networking is one of the most important thing. You need to have a network of people. You need to make friends. You need to make your own contacts that might suggest you in the future, and that might refer you to another people who have reached at a certain level in their journey. And obviously you have to be passionate about whatever you're working for. So any work that has been given to you, it has been allotted to you, work on it very passionately and strive for perfection. You should make it a habit to be passionate about and work for it in a perfect manner, whatever it is that you have been allotted. So even if it is a very simple topic or you have been given a very simple thing to do, you should try that it reaches a stage of perfection. and you should be passionate about it. So it's not only going to help you, but also the people you're working with, and obviously maintain a good record. And well, yes, this is a very important thing. Whenever you're working in any firm under any lawyer, you should ask questions. This is this is the most important thing where most of us lack. Even when I joined initially, I was hesitant to ask questions. I was not asking questions, and I used to research it on my own. I used to search for answers on Google, but it does not leave a good impression. If you're working with someone, you should ask them questions whenever they have given you a topic. Ask them and get the details from them, what it is that they're looking for in it, and what kind of work it is that you should do to please them. So another important aspect of how to get an internship is obviously your CV and your interview. These are the most important things that will help you get an internship anywhere. So make sure that your CV is perfect and it caters to what that job is looking for. And obviously, interview has to be good. I think for CV, Vidhi Parivartan is doing a great job. So maybe you should look into that. You can get help from them to draft your CV. They can help you with it. And make sure that not you should not submit the same CV at every job. They're looking for different things, and read the description that they have given, the job description or the internship description, and include the points, specific points that they're looking for, and leave certain things that might not be helpful. It should not be your CV should not be very bulky. I think 2 page or 1.5 page CV is fine. So include the points that are very specific and that they're looking for. And yes, obviously, memorize your CV. You should know every single point that you have mentioned in your CV, because a lot of your questions in your interview are based on your CV. So if you have written something on it, you should know what you have written, because they're going to ask you, maybe they'll ask you that you participated in something and then you couldn't recall it at that moment. So it might leave a bad impression. So include specific points and memorize everything that you have mentioned in your CV. Interview. So I think the pandemic has shifted us all to telephonic interview. So there are obviously certain uh, mannerisms, certain behaviors that you should follow during a telephonic interview. In-person interview, then of course you have to be very prim and proper when you visit for an interview. You should be dressed properly. You should behave with the people that are in the interview room very properly, and greet the people who are in the boardroom. And obviously, follow up for answer all the questions that they are asking. And it's okay if you cannot answer all the questions that they have asked. Make sure that you satisfy them. And telephonic interviews, I guess, are somewhat easier as compared to in-person interview. And so some tips and okay. So one small trick that I follow before every interview is that I read a short story by any good writer, say Charles Dickens, or there are various writers that you might be interested in, because it helps you to guide your interview to a particular level. So if you have mentioned in your hobbies that you like to read, make sure that you have read a short story 1 or 2 days before the interview, because they're going to ask you questions on that. Okay, so you have mentioned that you like to read. What is a thing that you have read recently? So be prepared for that. Read a short story. It's going to help you um, during your interview. And choose a story that has a certain uh, theme that caters to that particular job interview. So for example, for a firm where maybe the head is a female, or if you're in a boardroom where there are lots of females, then you can mention a story with feministic themes. You can mention a story with socialistic themes. So these are the themes that will help you guide your interview towards that theme if you're comfortable talking on it. So if you like to read, then maybe you should consider reading a short story before your interview. So, how you can get an internship at a good firm? Obviously, so what skills you need to mention in your CV, and what experience you require before you apply for an internship. So, obviously, every CV has a column of skills and experience. So, what kind of skills can you mention it? What are the skills that are required for getting a job at a good firm? So you can mention skills so obviously it's going to depend upon what kind of job you're applying to. So read the job description, what it is that they're looking for. For example, if they're looking for litigants, then obviously you will have to mention all your debates, all your debating experience, all your mooting experience, and how in how many speaking uh, competitions you have participated. Then there might be jobs that are specifically looking for people who are good at researching. Then you should mention all the writing experience that you have, all the researching experience that you have. So the skills that you mention in your CV will depend upon what it is that that job requires. Do not mention all the skills, all same skills in all the CVs that you submit for your internships. It should be separate for each separate application. Mention different skills for different applications, whatever it is that that particular job is looking for. So, mention the skills of researching, drafting, and writing. If you're applying for a job and they're looking for a person who's good at researching, and if you're applying for a job in a firm that basically deals with litigation, then you should mention those experiences. Then there are obviously certain arbitration and negotiation um, firms. So you can mention your skills and how you're good at negotiations. Okay, so the basic skill, one basic skill that everyone asks for is research, because in any law firm that you apply, you'll have to research for your own projects on your own. Especially if you're a young associate, then you'll have to research everything on your own. So if even if it deals with writing, then you should then obviously you'll have to research on it. But if that firm is about litigation, then also you'll have to research on your own documents and plaints and all the written statements that you have to provide. So researching you should mention in all the CVs. And how to gain these skills, obviously, so that's a very important part of this. How do you gain these skills? You can learn them during your law college, you can learn them during other internships, and you can even practice it during your free time. You can obviously whenever you're writing a project for your law school, you're researching on those laws, so you can mention it during your interview that you might not have the experience in researching, you might not have a certificate in researching, but you obviously have the experience in researching because you have been researching for different laws during your course. So how you can gain experience? Experience is something that you gain throughout your life. You have been gaining experience when you were studying in first year, and in whichever year you are, you will obviously gain experience. And once you start interning, you'll gain a different kind of experience that will be practical experience. So there are certain tricks that you can follow whenever you're free, and if there is a district court available nearby, then you should visit it in your free time. There sometimes some of the teachers that are teaching you, they're also practicing lawyers, so you can talk to them and under their guidance, with their help, you can visit the district court, and you can experience it on your own. You might not be able to get a certificate for that, but obviously that experience is going to help you somewhere throughout your career. So and you should know how to market your experience. Whatever it is that you're learning, it is not going to be of any use if you do not market it properly. So learn to market whatever it is that you have learned. Now you do not need to have a degree in MBA to learn how to market whatever it is that you have learned. Just remember anything that a particular job requires. You should mention it in your CV and then mention it somewhere in the interview, and make sure that they remember it. Okay, so online portfolio is one thing that was slowly becoming important, but due to COVID-19, it has become a very important part of your career. You should not only have a CV, a hard copy of your CV, or send your CV through Gmail. You can even upload all your projects that you have made during your law course. Or maybe if you like writing on things, then you should write on topics that are related to law, that are maybe related to recent developments that are taking place in law, maybe the recent judgments that have come from Supreme Court or High Court of your state, and write on it and then upload it somewhere on the internet. There are various platforms for this. You can either create your own blog, or maybe upload it somewhere on Facebook or anything. So have an online portfolio. It is a very important thing. And mention the link of that blog or any online portfolio on your CV. It is going to give you an edge over the others. Okay, so uh, now we'll move on to the topic. Uh, so this internship leading to job. Okay, so there are various internships at good firms that will not only help you understand what they are all about, how they are working, but it is also beneficial for you in the sense that you might get a job offer if you perform well. So all the points that I mentioned earlier, you should be very passionate about whatever you're working for and strive for perfection. And it is possible that if you're working at a good firm, it might lead to a job offer. So if you have found which field you're comfortable working in, which field you're interested in, then maybe you should apply to a good law firm in that particular field. And it is very likely, there are high chances that you might get a job offer from the same people who have kept you as an intern. So if you maintain a good record, if you submit your articles or whatever it is that they require on time, uh, then you can get a job offer from those firms. Networking, marketing, all these points are very important. I've already mentioned earlier. So networking is important because it is going to help you get all the contacts that are required in legal industry. And marketing, obviously, if you're doing something, then you should know how to present it to different people. If you have done a good thing, something that you're proud about, then maybe you should learn how to market it, how to present it to people, so that they can understand what it is that you're capable of doing, and then accordingly they'll keep you at a good position in their firm. So obviously, okay, so basically all the points that I have mentioned earlier regarding the internship, how to get an internship at a good firm, will all apply for job as well. So you should follow all the points of CV, follow all the points for interview, and then apply accordingly. Make sure that the CV that you're submitting uh, to the firm for your job caters to what they're actually looking for, and mention all the relevant skills and experiences that you have acquired during your prior internships. And then obviously in the interview you'll have to convince them how it is that you're good for their firm, and what it is that you're capable of contributing, and how you can contribute towards the growth of that firm in a positive direction. So obviously, because you're a lawyer, so you should know how to convince people, convince them that how you're going to be a good choice for their firm. Okay. Well, yes, I've already mentioned that you should look at the job description and apply accordingly. Basically, most of the job offers, they require cover letter as well. So mention whatever it is that the skills that they are looking for, and how you're going to contribute towards that, and how you have all the relevant experience. And obviously, so I don't know how many of you have watched Suits. When Harvey is looking for a legal associate, and he asked Donna to help him, she asks him what it is that you're looking for. So he says another me, right? So if whatever person is interviewing you, or whatever person is at the top of that firm, or the person who is hiring you, the person under whom you will be working or reporting to, you should research a bit about him as well, and present yourself in a manner that they'll obviously be interested in you. They'll look another themselves in you. So maybe you should try mirroring them, not exactly mirroring them per se, but yes, mention some of the skills that they have, some of the interests that they have, that you share with them. And whatever skills that you're mentioning to them, please research a bit about that as well, and read in deep about that. Okay, so your cover letter and your CV should be personalized. I've mentioned it a lot of times in this presentation, that please personalize your cover letter, personalize your CV, and mention all the skills that that job is looking for, that internship is looking for, and make it personalized. Make them feel that you have prepared that CV, prepared that cover letter specifically for them, and not you're not submitting a general CV or a general cover letter to every person. And so one thing that you can try is mention one or two lines on top of your CV, that why that job is good for you, why you are a good choice for that job. So in very brief, one or two lines, mention that in your CV. And online portfolio, again, I'll say that it is as important as a CV, maybe even more important. Have a portfolio that is available online, so that they can look into it, so that they can get to know that yes, you have all those skills. Anything that you have done until now, put it on the web, and have a domain, and mention it in your CV. And obviously, in the interview, you have to stand out, you have to be different from all the people that are appearing in the interview. You can do this by marketing. There are different ways. You can mention certain skills that only you have. If uh, you have certain different skills, then obviously mention it. So let's move on to the next slide. This was particularly for the students who are in their who are in their fourth or fifth year, or their final year in 3 year law course. Then there's an advice for first and second year students. You should not be very stressful or anxious about getting an internship in a very good law firm during your first or second year. You can still try and venture into different fields and look for whatever it is that you're interested in. You can apply in different places, and before you apply to a top tier law firm, you should try these steps. There are conventional steps that you should work in DLSA or any legal service authority. They'll help you, they'll take you to different places, they'll take you on tours, they'll show you how legal system works, how they'll take you to different jails, they'll take you to different courts. So these are the conventional steps. Maybe work in a legal service authority, and then in your second year you should maybe work in any NGO and help people. And then third year, fourth year, final year onwards, you can start applying to good internships. You may even try working in a district court, because lots of activities are going on in the district court. You can visit family law courts, you can visit civil courts, you can visit criminal courts, and then that will help you understand which field you're interested in, and so that you can start applying in future to those firms, to the relevant firms, and not in those firms where you won't be happy working in. So whatever field you're interested in, from third year onwards, you can start applying to that particular firm. And basically, first year, second year is about trying everything. You should try any field that is related to law. Maybe you should venture into that. If you learn of an opportunity of any help that maybe your friend requires or somebody in your family requires, then research about it and write an article or help them out. Whatever it is that you do, mention it on your blog or something that you uh, or whatever online portfolio you're comfortable in. And so, yes, that's it. For first year students, you should try everything before you venture into a top tier law firm, because your experience will then become limited to that particular field. So, yes, that's it. Let's conclude. So, the most important things that you should be very careful about: networking, that is important, marketing yourself, and marketing yourself online. That can be done by creating online portfolios, and create a good CV, have a CV, but make sure to personalize it for every job that you apply. Do not submit the same CV, same cover letter for every internship, every job application. Make sure to mention the relevant skills and the interest that they're looking for. So that's it. If you have any questions, thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening everybody on such an important topic. Anybody who has questions can either unmute themselves or raise their hands or directly post it in the chat box.
Okay, I think there are lots of questions. Ma'am, please provide a sample of good CV. I think that is something you people can do, right? Because I've seen that you're already helping lots of people with their CVs. So, Niharika, maybe you should consult the people of Vidhi Parivartan, and if they require, I can obviously submit a sample for a good CV, but they're already doing it. So I think it is something that they can do. Ma'am, does participation in something is worth mentioning in the CV? Participation in something, so that depends upon what you're participating in. Obviously, if you're participating maybe in a skit or something like that, that may show that you have confidence, that might show your speaking skills, but that's not very relevant. If it is relevant, for example, if it is about debates or maybe moot courts, then obviously mention it in your CV. Should we cite webinars attended and certificates acquired in CV? Yes, please cite all the, not all the webinars that you have attended, but if suppose you're applying for a job or internship in a criminal, in a firm that deals with criminal matters, then mention relevant certificates, that recent webinars that you have attended and certificates that you have acquired. Mention the relevant things, leave all the things that are not important, because it's only going to make your CV very bulky. My ma'am, I get the internship in corporate department of tier 3 law firm. So could you please tell us what to do? Be my strategy so that I can get a job from them. I have only 1 year to finish my law program, as it is third year program. Would you like to suggest some good IPR certification course which have very good reputation among the law firm? Do you have any about the FICI? Okay, so IPR, I can suggest you should join, look the website of WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organizations, and they they offer many free courses. Look into that. It's a very good thing, and because it's obviously an international organization and something that has value everywhere, so a certificate in World Intellectual Property Organization will be very beneficial for you. Okay, so you have all Ashutosh Kumar Singh is saying that he has already got an internship in a corporate department of tier 3 law firm. So could you please tell us what would be my strategy so that I can get the job from them? Okay, so Ashutosh, basically it depends upon whether they have a vacancy for job or not. But in case they have, then work for whatever work they are giving you. You should be very particular about the deadline, submit it on time, and obviously ask for criticism or feedbacks from them so that you can work on it in whatever manner that they require. And yes, be very passionate about working with them, and show them that you're passionate and that you are very happy working with them. Answer, uh, ask questions, obviously answer whatever it is that they require. You should do it very properly and strive for perfection. Can you please send us an example of a good CV? How can we prepare a good cover letter? If you can tell the format, it would be of great help. Okay, so CV I've mentioned again. I think Vidhi Parivartan is doing a very good job with CVs. You can take their help. They'll help you out. Medha is asking, how can we prepare a good cover letter? Medha, you can how to write a good cover letter will depend upon the description of job or internship that they have provided. Obviously, you should mention in brief about whatever skills you have, whatever experience you have, and how it is going to be beneficial for them. If you can tell the format. So that's it. There's no particular format. You have to mention all the skills and all the experiences in very brief, and then mention in detail how you can be a good choice for them. And please do not make it lengthy. It should be only of one page. Ma'am, as a second year law student, what could be the best internship as for now, like COVID situation? You should look for online internships. Many internships are available virtually right now. So maybe you can try for any human rights firm, or look for NGOs that are providing internships to law students. Otherwise, any internship will be good for you. Make sure it is virtual, or even if you have time, you can start visiting district court. Do not take much stress or don't be very anxious about it. You can take help from any lawyer that is in your area. He can help you out. You can talk to him and then start preparing anything. And if you do not get an internship, you do not get selected in an internship during first or second year, then just focus on writing articles on recent law topics. That would be very beneficial for you, because the firms that hire first or second year students, they only give you research work or work that is related to writing articles. So you can do it on your own as well. Make a blog and start writing on it regularly. That could be a good experience for you. And how legal content writing helps in improving CV. I'm a second year law student. Okay, so legal content writing, because is very helpful for students who are in their first or second year, because one it is going to help you in your answer writing, it is going to help you in your projects, and second, it is going to help you during your internships as well, because people that hire first or second year law student, they usually give them the work of content writing, blog writing. There are many blogs that are available right now, and they need students to write for them. So it is going to be beneficial, because if you're writing on your own blog or on another blog, it is going to give them a look into what you're capable of doing. Do NLU students and private law college students differ in getting a job? Okay, so NLU students, because they are studying in a very good college, and their college has a particular reputation. So it is a conception among people that they're going to be very good. So there might be chances that they'll prefer a student who is in NLU over a private law college student, but you can make up for it. You can follow all the steps that I've mentioned before. You can create an online portfolio so that you can show what it is that you're actually capable of, and give a very good interview, have a CV, prepare a good cover letter. Then there shouldn't be any reason why they should not select you. Ma'am, if I have litigation drafting skills, can I apply to non-litigation law firms for negotiate? Yes, obviously you can apply for any law firm, even if you do not have experience in that field. Obviously, you will have to convince them, and litigation drafting skills. Okay, so I believe any experience is good. Any experience in law is good experience, and if you're able to convince them how that experience, how that drafting skill is going to help them, then that would be beneficial. Can I apply to non-litigation law firm? So, negotiation. If you're studying LLM from India or doing LLM from abroad makes difference. Okay, so if LLM will only make a difference in if you're trying to get into teaching jobs. So if you want to become a teacher, as people say, we get the pay scale high. Okay, so private colleges, you can negotiate your salary, and LLM from abroad, there are many colleges available abroad out also. So if you get an opportunity of studying LLM from a good law college, um, if it is available outside India or if it is available in India, it's not going to make much difference. But you'll be very restricted in your field if you're going to study LLM from outside, because I think you'll only be able to take up international law. So that is going to restrict your field a bit, and it is going to take you on a very different level. So LLM from India, LLM from abroad, it might make a small difference. But yes, obviously, if you convince them that your college was good and that you have all the relevant skills, then it is not going to make much difference. Okay, so what should an online portfolio contain? Okay, so that is a very good question. Whatever projects that you have worked on, make sure they are not plagiarized. So upload it online, maybe make a blog, upload all the projects that you have worked on online, but mention the references, and make sure it is not plagiarized or copyrighted from any other source. You can even start writing your opinions or research on any law topic, and upload it on your blog. For example, say you can write on OTT platforms or any judgment on the laws that are changing in OTT platforms. You can write on any judgment that Supreme Court has recently given. You can write your opinion on that, and it can contain anything. Online portfolio, make sure it is relevant to law. You can write on topic that you studied in a class, make a summary, and then upload it online. It's basically to give an idea to the person who's hiring you that you have writing skills and you're good at researching. So if you're proud of your work, if you think that it is good enough, put it online. Ma'am, I've already passed BLLB. How can I prepare for getting jobs in corporate firm? Now I'm doing LLM. Apply for internships in corporate firm. Corporate firms, so basically focus on company law and all the laws that are relevant. It's good if you do not get an immediate placement in a good law firm. There are many companies that require legal advice. So you can apply to any one of them. You can intern under any one of them and then slowly move towards a top tier law firm. If you're already doing LLM, make sure that your employee is okay with you already being in a course. I'm a fourth year and I want to pursue LLM from JNLU. So please, can you give some tips for cracking CLAT? Okay, so read all the relevant subjects that are going to come in the exam. I think constitutional law, jurisprudence is very important. It is one subject that is a bit difficult to remember, but in CLAT, I think jurisprudence questions are very important. Do some research on it. You will get all the previous year questions. Uh, uh, Practice all the previous year questions, and you'll get an idea what kind of questions they're asking. What is career scope of litigation in international law? Well, international law is not that developed, and I don't think that it has. See, international corporate law might be beneficial. International law in itself is not going to have much of a career scope because it is not. Um, you cannot force it upon countries, right? Every country has a different law, and international. So, career scope of litigation in international law. Um, Different fields of international law might be good. So, corporate international law, intellectual property rights international law, and maybe cyber laws, these things that have international scope, international relevance, they might have a scope, good career scope. You should really look into intellectual property rights because they are developing in having international registration and all those things. Corporate laws you can look because many countries, people who are signing contracts internationally, they'll require some help there. I'm a second year law student and I applied in a few firms, but I did not get reply from their side. Is it because they prefer students from third year, or there is any other criteria for getting selected in a law firm? Well, actually, if any person is hiring a law student, they're obviously going to look how much of law knowledge you have. And I think students of first and second year, I'm not going to say that they do not have any knowledge, but because they have not studied many subjects, so people usually prefer students of fourth or final year. Um, how did you apply, Medha Rudra? Did you Okay, so make sure have practice in district court first or any small firm. Practice under a lawyer that is available in your district, and it might help you get a job in a big law firm in future. Third year, you have a lot of time. Second year law student, you have a lot of time. What is scope in environmental law? Environmental law has good scope. I don't know much about scope of environmental law. I'm sorry. But yeah, it might have a good scope because people are very concerned about environment right now, and there are many activists and NGOs. So I think you can get good. You can become an advisor in an NGO that particularly relates to environmental law. While interning, what are the soft skills one should have that the firm lawyer looks for? So researching is one of the basic skill that every lawyer should have. Good drafting skills that every lawyer should have. So make sure to work upon your researching skills, upon your drafting skills, and writing skills, obviously. And if it is a litigation firm, then make work upon your skills of speaking and debating, negotiating. So yes, these are the skills that you require. So I think the questions are over. Ma'am, in criminal law, where should I go for internship? Because I am interested in that. Um, Shakti Prasad. Which year are you studying in, Shakti, right now? Okay, that's fine. So, suppose if you're studying in first or second year, then maybe you should start uh, visiting the district court of your city and look into what criminal law is all about. Explain the difference between working in house counsel and working in a law firm. Okay. And then start from your fourth or fifth year onwards, you should start applying to a good firm that offers criminal law internship. Maybe work in High Court or Supreme Court. Yeah, start with a district firm, district law court, and then move on to High Court. Then you can get good chances of selection in a law firm. Okay, so could you please explain the difference between working in-house counsel and working in a law firm? I do not know much about that, so I'm going to refrain from talking about it. I might only confuse you people more. Are there any more questions? Okay, so I think that's it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a really informative session with you today. I'm sure whoever was a part of this must have learned a lot from you. Once again, I thank you for accepting our invitation at Vidhi Parivartan. We're hoping to collaborate with you for more such knowledgeable sessions in the future as well. I would also like to thank our participants for being patient listeners. We appreciate your time and patience and will keep serving you with all such webinars in the future. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.